So welcome to Shift Your Relationship, the 5-day challenge. Day 1, the energetics, your couple frequency. So just to introduce myself, I'm Nicole Matheson. I'm a relationship coach, and I come from a background of kinesiology, which is where the interest in energetics, in energy, in the whole system healing really comes from. As I have, got more experience and gained in my confidence as a coach and a kinesiologist, my marriage has also transformed and evolved. So they have absolutely gone hand in hand with me. I've been married for 17 years and in a committed relationship with my husband for 21 years. And it has really been the forefront of my evolution, my marriage, my relationship. It has challenged me so deeply to the core, and I think the reason for that is because I love this man and I want this to work. And there have been times when it's been so uncomfortable that, we've been so stuck. So, working out how to get things unstuck, get things moving again, how to do the bit that I can do to shift things has been a really big part in getting it to where it is today. So in this 5-day challenge, we're going to cover, so day 1, we're going to talk tonight about the energetics and the frequency and your couple frequency. We're going to really hone in on that, because when we are clear on the energetics, we can be clear on what is in our power and we can take responsibility back. So this is about getting empowered tonight. So day 2, tomorrow, we're going to talk about resistance. So if we have this power, why aren't we using it? And there are many reasons, and often very hidden from view, hidden from ourselves. So that's tomorrow. Day 3 is really the first of the big steps to shifting our relationship. And that, on day 3, we're looking at nourishing ourselves rather than the story. Day 4, another big step in shifting is embracing change. And I will teach you my tool, which is the spiral. The spiral is a goodie, and that really helps to embrace change and growth. And that is a huge key to shifting your relationship energetics. Day 5, on the last day, we are going to feed in. It's all about commitment. So that's the 5-day plan, and it's really exciting to be diving deep into that. At the end of each live, we're going to have a Q&A, so I'm going to really open up the floor and see if anyone has questions. I am speaking in all of these sessions as though to a heterosexual woman, because that is what I'm familiar with, and that's my experience, so that's what I know. But if you are not a woman, if you are not a heterosexual woman, it is just as relevant for you, to you, and all you need to do is just tweak and shift the pronouns, the context, and it will be the same stuff. If you are single, this stuff is just as relevant to you as well. You can look at your past relationships in all that we are looking at here, or you can look at the energy with which you kind of approach relationships and go into things. So, you know, just be flexible with how you can relate this to yourself. Okay, so we're going to get familiar with the energetics that are at play in relationships so that you can take responsibility, so that you can take your power back. So first, let's talk about feeling stuck. Feeling stuck really sucks. I mean, you have a need, you have a yearning, you want something, but you're not getting it, you're not receiving. Maybe you have an expectation, or you have a disappointment, or you have a conversation, and it seems to be the same thing again and again and again. The same thoughts going around in your head, the same feelings, the same stuff. So what often happens is we are bringing the same thing in, and we are getting the same response from our partner. Yeah, we are bringing the same energy and receiving the same energy back, but we want something different, and we want it to shift, and we want it to change. You know, I've been stuck in relationship, I don't know, quagmires, it feels like swamps, where you're just kind of wading through and you really want more, but it's as though your partner doesn't hear you, or doesn't see you, or doesn't get you, and nothing changes. And the thing about this is it actually starts seeding doubt, and you start losing faith, and you start having thoughts, and you start having one foot out the door. And as we are going to explore tonight, all of this has its own energy that then he responds to. So your partner is going to respond to the energy you're bringing in. Yeah? So I want to bring it to the energetics of your relationship dynamic. So I have a little nifty drawing here. This is the highest of technology that we're using tonight. So I've got a little drawing here. So this is me, and this is my heart, and I have an energy dynamic that is like a toroidal field around my heart. Okay, so this is what I emanate. This is the energy that I emit outwards. And my husband has one too. And he emits energy outwards. Okay, now, because we are energetic beings, I'm an energetic being, he's an energetic being, we create an energetic field where our energies meet. You know, a field, a frequency, a vibration that we contribute 50% each to. Like, we are equal contributors. So this is like an entity, like a dynamic. I'm calling it the couple frequency. Okay, so this is the frequency that the combination of your energies creates. Okay? Sometimes I like to think of this as like a fire between you. A fire that you can fuel with logs if it needs to be energized. Or you can take logs off if it's inflamed and it's got too much going on, too much focus on it. Yeah? But the thing is that we respond to each other, to each other's energies. So we respond to each other before we have any action, before we have any words come out of our mouths, before we speak. We are very much centered in our head consciousness. So we forget that actually we're responding to an energy that is between us, that is created between us. We're responding to the couple frequency. We're responding to how our energies meet, right? So every nuance, every thought, every feeling, before it's even a spoken word or an action, is picked up by you through this couple frequency. Okay, so I've had clients that I've worked with whose couple frequencies have been toxic. They have had, abuse, or they've had a lot of fear, or they've had total stagnation in their couple frequency. It's kind of different to how this individual and this individual are. It's how they are together. Yeah? And your couple frequency will make you feel a certain way. So you will feel maybe safe and held, or you will feel prickly and resentful, angry, worried, it just depends. And this can shift and change, and should shift and change all the time. But what often happens is we get stuck in this kind of default couple frequency. And sometimes that default couple frequency is not actually beneficial. It's not actually working for you. So that's what we're talking about, really, when we want to shift our relationship energy, is we want to shift how this feels. How it feels when you guys combine your energy, when you think about being with your partner. So what we're going to do just now is we're going to try and conjure that feeling up so that you get a sense of where you're at in your couple frequency. Now, if you are single, you can do this by tuning in to the frequency of your last partnership, or the last few, if there's been a kind of pattern going on there. Or you can do this by just thinking about the energy that you emit when you are approaching someone, or the idea of relationships even, and what energy you're kind of bringing to that. But what I'm going to ask you to do now is put your hands on your heart and close your eyes down. And take a deep breath in and out, tuning into your heart. And it's like you're going to tune in your dial, your FM station dial, to your couple frequency. You're going to pick up on how that makes you feel. Yeah. And this is not the story. We don't actually want the story of where you're at. We don't, you might get a story, and that's fine. Maybe just bring that story into a feeling. There might be a sensation that comes with it. There might be a need. There might be an ache. So just invite and tune in to that. You might actually get both sides of the love-hate coin. There might be years of built-up resentment. There might be a lot of fear. So just tuning in. So if you've just joined us, hands on heart now. What we're doing is we're just tuning in to your couple frequency, to the energy that you and your partner create, 50% each, that your combination emanates, your couple frequency. So just tuning into that. And I want you to sort of ask yourself, does it always feel like this? Or is it just today? Because that's quite possible, that you're just kind of shooting through some sensations here. How often does it change? When did it last change? And you might want to also ask yourself, what would your partner feel if your partner tuned in? What would he or she notice? The way I see it is, okay, let's just start with me. This is me. This is my big, beautiful heart here. And this is actually on my page. We are going clockwise, so with the flow of the heart. This is my internal flow of love and well-being. Yeah. So the way I see it, and we're really going to dive into this on day 3, is that it's our job to nourish our inner flow of love and well-being. And I'm not just talking, you know, eat well, do exercise, although that too. I'm talking energetically, like really being, you know, we'll get right into this, but I'm talking about being really fierce about the beliefs and the thoughts and the energy you are allowing to flow. You're nourishing that. Okay, now the idea is that if we're not doing this job, if we're not looking after ourselves, then the way that we are interacting out here becomes more needy. There's more need because we're not doing this job, right? So when we're more needy, especially in relation to our partner, that starts to interfere or be felt in our couple frequency, okay, in the energetics of the way we are responding. So he's going to be picking up on my need, and he might feel overwhelmed. In fact, this is exactly what happened. For me, my story, and this is, you know, just picking out a little part of my story. Obviously, it's big and it's complex and it's layered like everyone's. But I needed more. I needed more emotional connection. I needed more to be held more. I needed him and to be really present with me. You know, this is the feminine, isn't it? Often we need more. Oh, thank you, Amanda. This is your response to tuning in to your couple frequency. You're saying, I feel a whole lot of love as well as a whole lot of worry that things aren't going to change. Long story short, my partner and I have been separating since December. I worry if I go back, is he still going to be the same, or will it change for a little while then go back to the same story? Right. Yeah. I can totally see this worry. I mean, I can feel it. I mean, often we have this big moment of cathartic, wow, I need you to change. And they're like, holy shit, yes, I'll change. And then you're like, 3 months later or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going. And I would like to come back to that, Amanda, and we'll see how we can bring that in, because I think you're not alone there. I think that lots of people have this. They're like, yes, everything's changed. And sometimes you can really get that change, that shift that you want. I want to address that again further down the track, so we'll come back to it, okay? All right, so coming back to my story. So I am an emotional woman. I wanted connection, right? I wanted to get a bit more from my partner. But every time I wasn't getting it, I wasn't really boundaried and I wasn't really believing in myself. So this was a little lacking, this inner flow. So when I was kind of flowing out into the relationship couple frequency with this, I was needy and I was approaching him with desperate need. Please, you know, it wasn't like I was pleading him, but I was angry, I was unsatisfied, I was disappointed. And so he feels like overwhelmed. He feels like escaping. And so I was actually getting less of what I needed. Yeah? So he wasn't actually doing his thing. He wasn't filled up. He was looking to me for his need to be looked after. And I was looking to him for my need to really be met emotionally. And so we're both kind of unsatisfied and unmet. Yeah? So, we meet our partners with where we're at, and often where we're at is this need to heal our childhood stuff that comes from our family of origin. So my need for him to really hold me and meet me emotionally came from me coming from a family which was your classic 1970s family of emotions aren't welcome. Go sort them out. Don't bring them into the family. So I had nowhere to go, and I just really had this big need for it. So it was really easy for us to get into blame. I blamed him, he blamed me. And we were in this kind of figure eight loop of blame. And blame, what it does is it distances us from each other and it separates us. So we were getting further and further apart. Now, couple frequency was feeling like a really unsafe place to be. Like I didn't feel like I could really trust him. I didn't feel his commitment to me. And so I then respond to the feeling of that by having one foot out the door. By kind of, getting really negative, getting really in my head, like, he's not meeting me, I'm not really here. And the energy of having one foot out the door creates insecurity for the other. And then you pick up on that. And so you kind of bounce off each other in this real downward negative spiral. All right, we're talking more about commitment on day 5. 2 feet in, so important for shifting your energy. Okay, so what saved me were 2 revelations. I had 2 revelations. And the first one, kind of already mentioned, is to nourish the inner flow of love and well-being, which is my job, not his. Okay, so my personal well-being, not look to him, but to actually own it, to own my happiness is my job. Yeah? So as soon as I started looking after me, how I felt, what I believed, my couple frequency started to feel better, right? So I was less, there was more space for him, he can relax, he can hold me. So the benefits of me looking after my flow of love and well-being, and I'm going to talk a lot more about this in day 3, was that the couple frequency felt better, but also I could actually see from a higher perspective. Yeah, because I'm starting to take responsibility for how I feel. I can just see things a little differently, and I can see that I have choices. I see that I can choose this or that. I can choose to respond in different ways. I'm more stable within me when I'm looking after myself. And so I'm less reactive. And so that started shifting things. And the other revelation I had was that it was all in my head. And I don't mean it was all in my head, as in I was making it all up, but I just mean the negativity that was creating my energy that I was putting into the couple frequency were stories that were going around and round in my head that were not essential. They were non-essential stories. And when I actually got out of my head and dropped into my heart, and this is something I've been on a real practice of, like just actually feeling rather than thinking. I mean, that is head to heart. When I got into just centering in feeling in the field of my heart, I didn't really have a problem. You know, in my heart, I actually felt my connection to my husband. I actually felt the love. I felt ease, you know, and I was able to drop into the state of coherence. And then that, again, that fuels our couple frequency. So I had to get into my heart. I had to get into my heart to save my marriage. Because the stories were just fueling toxic energy into my couple frequency. So 2 actions to focus on in order to shift your couple frequency, your relationship energy. So the big one that I've been alluding to here is the energy that you emanate. So this is before you speak, before you act. What energy are you emanating into your couple frequency? So I feel like this really brings us back to our responsibility to think about what's going on inside, right? So it's not just about, well, I did that. What do you expect? You know, it's not just about my actions or my words. I didn't say that, you know. We can be really irresponsible about the energy we're emanating by saying, well, you know, I've already done and said everything I need to do and say. Why are you so shitty? The reason they're so shitty is because our energy is toxic or blaming or distancing or you name it. Okay, so me being self-responsible about the energy that I was emanating, that I was inputting into our couple frequency, changes the feeling that he is responding to, which then benefits me, right? So the feeling that he's responding to, I then respond to. And we can get an upward spiral going rather than a downward spiral. Okay? So changing the feeling that I am emanating sounds probably tricky. I don't know. Does it sound tricky? I think the key to it is honesty. Because when I'm not being honest, I am pretending. I'm fine. I'm not responsible. I'm not doing anything. But when I'm really honest with how I am feeling, even if it's just for me that I'm honest, I'm feeling really angry right now, you know. We're going to cover a lot more of this on day 3. We're also going to cover the resistance to making this shift tomorrow. And that's a really important one as well. So let's just see how you feel about that, about really taking responsibility with how you are energizing your relationship before you say I'll do anything. Now, the second big action you can take to shift things, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, but is really nourishing yourself, your inner flow of love and well-being. Like my healing model, the healing that I do here in my space and with all my clients, is based on this flow of love and well-being within. Annie's got a reply here. She says, so I'm a little late. That's cool. But I feel a lot of different things. I feel warmth and care. I feel growth. I feel safe. I feel impatience. I feel a fear of stagnation, which is weird. Because it's the exact opposite of the growth feeling. And I feel frustration. Thank you for sharing, Annie. Yeah. There's lots going on. I mean, these couple frequencies, they hold everything, I think if there's unresolved stuff, it's there, it's between you, it's energy, and you might not want to deal with it, but it's there and it's affecting the way you respond to each other. I don't think you can underestimate the energetics of these things. And I don't think, coming back to that second action, I don't think you can underestimate how you nourish yourself. And I feel like nourishing ourselves can be something that we do on the surface. Like, yeah, I'm going to eat well, and yeah, I'm going to exercise well, and yeah, I'm going to say positive affirmations to myself. And sometimes that is not enough. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes that is not the deep healing work. That is not sitting with the uncomfortable feelings. That is not being your own champion. So we're going to get to that in day 3. But right now, I want to practice, I should say, building the muscle, building the shift muscle. And our practice for tonight, for the energetics of your relationship and your couple frequency, is to embrace and invite your radiant woman. And this is the woman you want to be in relationship. All right, so I want you to just imagine that, well, it's not really imagine. It's like, it's more than imagine. It's calling on this part of you. This part of you that you know her. She's there. She's part of you. She's inspired you and motivated you for years within your relationship. She's been there since you were a young girl. She's the woman you want to be in relationship. She's the woman you know you can be. I'm going to call her your radiant woman. Okay. Now the thing that's different about her is her energy is different. She is vibing, she's vibrating, she's emanating the energy that lifts. There's something really fierce about her too. Do you feel it? Like, she's no pushover. She is able to ask for what she wants. She's able to look after herself. She's able to appreciate someone for who they are rather than needing them to be something for her. Which is also cool, right? It's also cool to need someone to be something for you, but appreciating who they are is really important. So what I'm going to invite you to do now is I'm going to guide you through a little invocation of your radiant woman so you can really get to know her and feel her and become her. So I invite you to close your eyes down and again, put your hands on your heart and breathe. Deep breath into your heart space and out. Beautiful. And in front of you, I want you to see a circle of light. And in that circle of light is the energy of your radiant woman, of the woman you know you can be, the woman you want to be in a relationship. You're standing outside of the circle, but you can feel the energy of it. You can feel it starting to warm you. You can feel her fierceness. You can feel how she is her own champion. How she looks after herself. How the energy that radiates from her is self-responsible. She's not a victim. She doesn't blame. If something's not working for her, she finds a boundary or she asks for it. Or she makes a change. She is fierce in looking after herself. When you are ready, I want you to step into the circle of light and feel the energy in every single one of your cells. Feel the energy in your heart. Feel it pouring into you like a cascade of light. Just let it cascade in through your crown, all the way down, through all your chakras, through your torso and your abdomen. Feel it in your loins, all the way down to your feet. Every cell filled with the light of your radiant woman, of the woman you want to be. Feel the energy of her. How does it feel to be her? How does she stand? How does her heart feel? Tune into that. How's her body feel? How do you feel when you fully embrace and fully invite your radiant woman? You don't have to answer that. Just breathe it in. Bathe in her. And just now, bring your radiant woman energy to your couple frequency. Just let the two energies meet. What does she bring to your couple frequency? What does she shift? What does she change? How does she hold herself? I want you to see it in your mind's eye. I want you to practice this now, here, so that you're ready for this. What is different about her? How does she interact with your partner? That's the question I was looking for there. How does she move? How does she move around the room? Now, your practice is to call on her every day, to tune in with her, to invite her in, to let her cascade into all of your cells every day, every day. Every morning as you wake up, Call her in. Bring her to your day. You can pray to her. You can ask her for your help. Please, Radiant Woman, help me. You know, I'm really stuck. I'm really doubtful. I'm feeling really negative. I need your help. Call on her. See her approach you. Feel her energy enter you. Step into the circle of light. Do whatever you need to do, but call on her. Use her. She's a resource for you. Yeah, she shifts the energy of things immediately. Yeah. And she will help you shift the energy of your couple frequency. So let's just summarize today's session. You are a powerful, energetic being. You and your partner create a couple frequency that you are a 50% contributor to. So if you are contributing 50% of the energy, you can shift that energy. So the energy is here, you're holding it here, you keep responding in the same way to the same energy. But if you no longer hold the energy there and you hold it elsewhere, that frequency is gone. It is no more. Okay, it has to be shifted. So there's choices. You know, your partner can either meet you or not. Tomorrow we're going to talk about resistance and that whole question of what if my partner doesn't meet me. It's a biggie. So you have the power to shift your dynamic, and how you nourish yourself will change how you emanate and what you bring to the dynamic. We'd come back to Amanda's comment earlier, which was about will it go back to the same old dynamic? Yeah, it's a good question. Will it go back to the same old dynamic? I'd like to hear, Amanda, what do you think? I mean, if you've shifted your response to the frequency, if you're no longer responding in the same way, you know, it's kind of like the advice that we tell our children if they are being bullied. You know the advice? Like there's a bully, they're saying things to you and they're getting a response from you. And they love the response from you, so they keep going. But if you don't respond to that, then they can't hold that dynamic anymore. That frequency no longer exists. And it's no fun. They don't enjoy a non-responsive thing, right? So we're not talking about dealing with a bully here, but what we're talking about is it takes two to hold up a frequency, a couple frequency. It takes two to hold up a dynamic. And if you choose not to hold up that specific energetic dynamic anymore, it's not going to exist. It doesn't exist because they can't hold it alone. They can try, but if you're not responding in the same way, if your energy has shifted, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to feel the same. It's not going to have the same response. It's different. It's changed. It's shifted. So Amanda, I'm suggesting that absolutely, if you are not coming back with the same energy, then it's impossible for things to fall into the same place. It takes being really fierce, though. Really fierce. So, and we'll talk more about this. This really comes down to the day 5, which is 2 feeding commitment. Really boundaried, I suppose. It's big boundaries around what you're willing to put up with. But I believe that you know, they'll either meet you or they won't, and sometimes they're unable to, and that's okay. It's time for it to be finished.